At 69, Doria Ragland finally broke her silence. The world had speculated, whispered, and endlessly debated, but no one, not the tabloids, not the royal biographers, not even the most ardent royal watchers, had ever heard the words she was about to speak. And yet, there she was, calm but resolute, revealing a secret that would shake the foundations of everything we thought we knew about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their children, Archie and Lilibet. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. But let's start at the beginning. What if everything you thought you knew about these children was wrong? What if the stories that circulated in hushed tones, the rumors dismissed by the media as outlandish, were not only true, but far more dramatic than anyone imagined? Today, Doria Ragland, Meghan Markle's mother, confirmed a revelation that had been swirling in the shadows for years. Archie and Lilibet were born through surrogacy. Yes, you read that right. And the implications go far beyond just family gossip. They touch on lineage, secrecy, identity, and the complex pressures of modern royalty. Imagine the scene. A quiet room, somewhere far from the prying eyes of the world, Doria sitting down and choosing to speak. She had been silent for decades. Silent through births, media scandals, interviews, and public scrutiny. Silent while whispers swirled around social media, television, and newspapers. Silent even when friends and confidants pressed her for answers. And now, finally, the truth came out. The world would never be the same. To understand why this moment is so earth-shattering, we need to rewind. We need to understand the intense curiosity that has always surrounded Archie, born in 2019, and Lilibet, born in 2021. From the moment of Archie's birth, the world was fascinated not just by the baby himself, but by the circumstances surrounding his entry into the royal family. Questions abounded. Why was the Duke and Duchess so protective? Why were there gaps between public appearances and announcements? Why, for years, did Meghan and Harry carefully curate the image of their family, keeping the children shielded from the relentless glare of media scrutiny? At the heart of these questions was one persistent rumor: surrogacy. At first, it was dismissed as fantasy, the product of overzealous tabloids or conspiracy theorists. Yet, in the quiet corners of private conversations, in the whispers of palace insiders and friends close to the Sussexes, there was a persistent hint that perhaps, just perhaps, the story was not as simple as the public had been told. And now, Doria's confirmation has provided the first definitive answer. But let's pause for a moment. Think about the stakes here. Surrogacy is not just a personal decision. In the context of a royal family, it becomes a seismic event. The British monarchy is steeped in tradition, protocol, and historical precedents. Every birth, every announcement, every public appearance is meticulously planned. The idea that two children of such significance, children born to the Duke and Duchess in the direct line of public attention, could have been born through surrogacy challenges centuries of expectation. It raises questions about lineage, inheritance, and the role of secrecy in a family that has always operated under the unyielding scrutiny of the public eye. And yet, despite all this, Doria's revelation is deeply human. It is about family, about love, and about protection. Surrogacy is often chosen for deeply personal reasons, and in this case, it appears to have been a decision made to shield the children from the impossible pressures of public life. It is a choice made out of love, and yet one that inevitably invites controversy, speculation, and drama. So why does this story matter now? Why did Doria choose this moment, at 69, to finally speak? Part of it is timing. Part of it is courage. But more than that, it is about reclaiming narrative control. For too long, the world has constructed its own version of events. Rumors have circulated, narratives have been spun, and stories have been sold. By speaking now, Doria is not just confirming facts, she is asserting agency. She is saying, we will tell our story on our terms. And in doing so, she has set off a chain reaction that is sure to reverberate through the royal family, the media, and the public consciousness. Think about the implications. The confirmation of surrogacy touches on every dimension of this family's story. It redefines the narrative of Archie and Lilibet's early lives. It reframes how we view Meghan and Harry's decisions, their relationship with the palace, and their ongoing struggles with media intrusion. It sheds light on Doria herself, not just as Meghan's mother, but as a decisive, protective, and remarkable woman navigating the treacherous waters of fame, tradition, and family loyalty. And here's the twist. While the revelation itself is explosive, it is only part of the story. There are layers yet to uncover, questions yet to be answered. Who arranged the surrogacy? What were the legal and logistical steps involved? How did the royal family respond behind closed doors? And perhaps most intriguingly, what does this mean for the future of Archie and Lilibet, for their identities, and for the legacy of their parents? Every answer leads to another question. Every revelation sparks another wave of curiosity. The world has long been captivated by Meghan and Harry, by their romance, their departure from royal duties, and their bold steps in shaping a life beyond palace walls. But the story of their children adds a whole new dimension, one that intersects with issues of privacy, personal autonomy, and the intersection of tradition and modernity. Doria's confirmation shines a spotlight not only on the past, but on the future. It asks us to reconsider what we know, to challenge assumptions, and to confront the complex realities of a family navigating life in the public eye while making profoundly private decisions. And now, let's not forget the human element. Doria Ragland is 69. She has lived a life largely outside the glare of public scrutiny, yet she has chosen this moment to step forward. This is a woman who has watched her daughter face relentless public pressure, who has supported her family in ways few of us can imagine, and who now carries the responsibility of revealing a truth that will shock millions. There is courage in that, yes, but also immense weight. Every word she speaks is amplified, dissected, and analyzed by a world eager for scandal, revelation, and emotional drama. How does one even begin to measure the impact of such a confession? As we explore this story, we will move carefully through the timeline. The early rumors, the subtle hints, the private conversations, and finally, the moment of confirmation. We will examine the emotional layers, the public reactions, and the ripple effects that will echo for years to come. And throughout, we will keep one question in mind. What does this reveal about family, identity, and the power of secrecy in the most scrutinized family in the world? The stakes could not be higher. Because once a secret of this magnitude is revealed, there is no going back. The narrative is forever changed. The public will never look at Archie and Lilibet the same way again. Royal watchers, historians, and casual observers alike will be forced to reconsider the stories they have accepted, the assumptions they have made, and the image of the family they thought they knew. And yet, even in the midst of this upheaval, one thing is clear. Doria's revelation is not merely about sensational headlines. It is about love. It is about protection. It is about a mother, a grandmother, and a family making choices in the face of immense pressure. It is a story of courage, of defiance, and of the delicate balance between privacy and public curiosity. And as we will see, this revelation is only the beginning. The layers that follow will uncover even deeper secrets, more surprising facts, and twists that will leave the world reeling. From the very moment Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born, the world was fascinated. The headlines screamed joy and celebration, yet behind the cameras, whispers began to circulate, whispers that no official statement would ever confirm. Some dismissed them as conspiracy theories, the idle chatter of tabloids hungry for clicks. Others, those with connections to the palace and the Sussex inner circle, knew there was more beneath the surface. And so, the rumors began, small at first, almost imperceptible, but persistent, like a low murmur that grows louder every day. It started subtly. In the weeks after Archie's birth in May 2019, friends of Meghan Markle reported hearing strange comments in private gatherings. Small hints that something about the baby's arrival was unusual. "I don't think they can reveal everything yet," one close friend recalled. "There's a reason they're keeping it private." At first, nobody paid much attention. The Sussexes were famously protective of their children, after all, but the whispers never stopped. They traveled across private social circles, through encrypted messages, and finally into the ears of journalists who were always hungry for a scoop. Social media, of course, amplified the rumors. Within days of Archie's birth, Forums and comment sections lit up with speculation. Some users claimed they had inside knowledge. Others pieced together seemingly innocuous details into a narrative that hinted at surrogacy, fertility treatments, or alternative birth arrangements. Headlines began to read like riddles. Royal baby mystery. What are they not telling us? Or Sussex children, the secret behind their births. Each new post, each new thread, added fuel to a fire that the palace was desperately trying to contain. Yet, in the palace corridors, the reactions were very different. Courtiers exchanged wary glances. Aides whispered warnings. Do not engage with the media. But even among the most loyal staff, curiosity grew. The Sussexes' decision to move abroad, first to Canada and then to the United States, only added weight to the speculation. People began asking, were they escaping more than just royal protocol? Were they shielding Archie and Lilibet from something bigger, something that the public was not meant to see? What made the rumors particularly tantalizing was the contrast between the public image and the private reality. Meghan and Harry were loving parents, always eager to celebrate milestones with carefully curated appearances. But every photo, every statement, every smile in front of the cameras seemed choreographed, controlled, almost defensive. It was as if the world were seeing only what the Sussexes wanted them to see. And that, of course, only made people wonder what was being hidden. The whispers intensified around Lilibet, their second child, born in 2021. By this time, the speculation had evolved. Social media algorithms fueled the rumors, with thousands of videos, threads, and articles questioning every detail of her birth. Questions ranged from the timing of announcements to the carefully limited public appearances. Observers noted that both children were always shielded from the press in a way that seemed far more intense than typical royal privacy. It was, for some, the first real indication that these were not ordinary royal births. And then came the subtle hints from those closest to the family. A trusted insider, speaking on the condition of anonymity, shared that certain health or medical considerations were involved. Nothing explicit, but enough to make the careful listener pause. One friend described a conversation with Meghan, years earlier, that hinted at challenges with conception and pregnancy. Another source spoke of logistical arrangements that required secrecy, legal expertise, and strict confidentiality agreements. The pieces were never laid out in a full picture, at least, not until Doria Ragland finally confirmed what so many had only dared to speculate. What fueled the media frenzy, however, was not just curiosity, it was drama. The royal family is nothing if not a stage for high-stakes human stories, and here was a tale that had every element of intrigue. Secrecy, celebrity, tradition, and family loyalty. Every rumor about surrogacy was dissected, debated, and exaggerated. News outlets ran speculative features. What would surrogacy mean for the line of succession? How would the palace respond if this were true? Would this change the public perception of Meghan and Harry? Each question led to 1,000 more, creating a perfect storm of curiosity and conjecture. Yet amid all the chatter, there was also skepticism. Experts in media studies and royal protocol often dismissed the speculation as wild and unfounded. Surrogacy, they argued, was a personal matter and not something the monarchy had ever needed to confirm publicly. The children were loved and protected, and rumors about their births were just that, rumors. And still, for those who followed the family closely, certain inconsistencies continued to raise questions. Why were the children's births timed with such precision? Why were certain health details omitted from public statements? Why did every photograph of the children feel carefully staged, controlled, almost defensive? Even among Meghan and Harry's allies, questions lingered. Friends close to the couple noticed the care with which private matters were guarded. Staff recalled discussions about privacy, contracts, and the careful management of information. Every anecdote seemed innocuous when isolated, but together they formed a pattern that hinted at a story larger than anyone had imagined. A story that, ultimately, would only be confirmed when Doria decided to speak. Public fascination played a key role in escalating the rumors. From online commentators to mainstream news, every small hint or observation was scrutinized. Tweets speculated about surrogacy. YouTube channels dissected public appearances for clues. The story became a modern legend. A royal family, 2 children, a secret that spanned continents. And with each passing year, the suspense only grew. People asked, will the truth ever come out? And if it does, what will it mean for the Sussexes, for the royal family, and for the world's perception of them? Interestingly, the rumors themselves created a kind of feedback loop. As speculation grew louder, the Sussexes' efforts to maintain privacy were interpreted as evidence of secrecy. Every photo withheld, every media statement carefully crafted, every private outing shrouded in discretion was taken as confirmation that something extraordinary was being hidden. The narrative fed itself, escalating from whispers to headlines, from curiosity to global fascination. Behind the scenes, the royal family watched closely. There was anxiety, yes, but also a recognition that some stories could not be controlled. Courtiers and advisors debated strategy, legal teams discussed confidentiality, and palace officials prepared for a media storm should the surrogacy story ever be confirmed. But for years, no one outside the immediate family knew the truth. The rumors remained exactly that, rumors, each one more tantalizing than the last.